his parents were working in the Congo. He was born in the Congo. But as what Chief Sokontwe stated, he's a Zambian. And he came and settled in Sokontwe and grew up in Zambia. There's nothing wrong. My son was born, my grandson was born in South Africa. So you are going to say he's South African? No. We were in South Africa for work. You know, passport. They arrested Celestine because he was the one that was now collecting the evidence. Even when we were about to file, they closed the courts. Like people's petition, Linda Kasonde and Charles Longwe. Charles Longwe filed in the petition. The portal kept on rejecting it because that portal doesn't work, and the courts were closed. Lead to the Chief Justice. He issued an official statement to acknowledge that a petition had been filed through his private mail, and he had used his his office, his powers and administrative powers, to refer that petition to the Constitutional Court against the Chief Justice. The events will emerge. Someone was even saying, Ambassador, you need to read about Skinner in 1967, our Chief Justice Skinner, who they said was our ugly scene, ugly period in the life of our judiciary. And was hounded out because the judiciary, one of the judges, had given, I think, a discharged movement. Some Portuguese Angolans were arrested, but they were not tried. So a habeas corpus was sought, and the judge released those, and then there was pressure on that judge. And then Skinner, as Chief Justice, defended the judge, and nip thugs stormed the chambers of the Constitutional Court. I need to reflect and refresh myself. So they are saying something similar has happened to Mumba Malila. For those that have details, you know, people that are connected, lawyers and others, please let us know the details around the Chief Justice. But people are comparing to what happened to Skinner as having happened yesterday. And as take this call, Augustine, give your thoughts as I take this call. Where is Augustine? Augustine has. Okay, let me start with Bachanda. Bachanda, give your views as I take this call. Something urgent.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. It's a very glaring the historical background that the ambassador has just given, and what is currently happening. We are moving way back in history. Instead of progressing, we are regressing. And we are regressing that we left probably 40 years ago. We are going to the default button of 40 years ago. If you see what is currently happening in this democracy is under attack, and it's being destroyed right before our eyes, it will be very, very difficult to mend once we go past this stage. I'm not sure what will happen to Honorable the running mate, Honorable Makebi Zulu. Zambia could either become or go deep into crisis. There are two possible trajectories that I see here. One is that Mundubile and Makebi Zulu are handed over. They are formally arrested, charged. The court challenges it, court makes determination, and the temperature will cool down. Scenario B, which I am thinking is likely to happen, is they are arrested, charges will remain vague, court appearance delayed, evidence not disclosed. Other opposition supporters will be going to continuously be arrested. The result will be that the handover could be really a catalyst for much bigger political crisis. So those two scenarios are the scenarios that I see might be at play. The question is that can Zambia state guarantee a ending process after surrender? That I have serious doubts. When you look at what has been happening, people have been arrested. Look at from Chipata during campaign, they go to Mongo, people are still in prison. Look at how Ambassador Lungu was abducted, still in prison. Look at Mutati, incarcerated. But the problem that I'm having is that there are so many people that have been arrested without seeing their day in court. If Makebi Zulu and President, I seriously doubt if they'll be given a fair treatment. If it happens, I would be surprised, and maybe it will be some things, and the number must be under custody, and then coupled with the death of Mutati, which senior government, they are quick to deny almost everything. The biggest problem that UPND has is that they will say one thing and do exactly the opposite. And when you complain about what they've said, then they say, oh, but in the past, it comes as scenarios. Questions will still be arising. What exactly happened during the operation that resulted in Mutati's death? Who authorized that operation? Why is it that 100, maybe 1/3, have just passed through court, others not? Others we don't even know where they are. Now,
thank you very much. Thank you very much, Wakalamba Lekeni Mpuishe. Thank you for helping me fill up. I was on the issues of the petition that elections in a scientific manner, set up a PVT, do what is called vote protection program, where you form polling station committees that should help the party agents, strengthen the party agents in the event that there are attacks from the UPND thugs, and just to see what was happening. And, when the vote started, the count started, Brian Mundubile was even scoring good votes, not Yerama 200, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 votes, although each was winning, but Brian was scoring good points even in Southern Province. And I was going that we saw then the soldiers storm, polling centers the following day. I've narrated the issues where results were altered, candidates were given like sweets, and that has been quoted by the EU, the 32 seats that are giving President Hakainde Hichilema dubiously up to 1.8 votes that are not his. This chart that shows that President Hakainde Hichilema has been as up to 1.8 million votes attributed to him that were not his votes, and this is in the credible reports. And it's been a basis of international is attempting to steal the election. And I was now at a stage where I was narrating that a petition was filed because of the overwhelming evidence. They attempted to arrest, even just the lawyers we consulted, they arrested Celestine Mukandila, bought NRPUP leader Ezra Tembo to attempt to remove the legitimacy of Brian Mundubile and Makebi Zulu's petition to the court, like they were trying to remove what we call was being removed by taking over NRPUP and Resolute Party. And I was narrating that when the day closed, Charles petitioning President Hakainde Hichilema's petition that he's not a legitimate leader of UPND because of the manner that they've done the election. They didn't follow the constitution. He's taken matters to the courts. He has taken from courts, he has taken judges that ruled in an unprofessional manner to favor President Hakainde Hichilema. He has taken them to the JCC. He is one of the petitioners to contest. He filed and he has evidence. It doesn't work, and the courts were closed. And we have Linda Kasonde. Lucky enough, she had the email address of the Chief Justice. She says, this is a constitutional office. This is a man that runs the judiciary. This is a man, for whatever circumstances, they've closed all courts in Zambia. So I'm going to file my petition to him. And she demonstrated that the courts were closed and that the judiciary portal, online portal, doesn't work. The Chief Justice was gracious. In the morning, he issued a public statement. And so the Chief Justice confirmed on a statement dated 25th August 2026. And Deputy Director Corporate Communications Kalumba Chisambisha Slavin stated that the Chief Justice has acknowledged an electronic communication sent to his private email address by a member of the public, and the documents are defined. They are a petition with attachments, and that the Chief Justice had noted the mode of communication of official documents through his private scrutiny, hearing and determination. And then we saw yesterday what I'm telling you, that something happened. They challenged the Chief Justice, they threatened the Chief Justice. We are hearing a lot of things. I've just been on a call with a very senior lawyer who's also very aggrieved, and the lawyers are trying to do something. They've heard about the Chief Justice and in the manner he was threatened. They are saying they will try to get the details, and maybe the Law Association of Zambia may issue a statement. A constitutional office holder pinned him down. They wanted him to issue a statement recanting his earlier statement and stating that the judiciary had not received a report. The Chief Justice has refused to do that. The Chief Justice says his public statement that was issued last remains valid. He is not aware about any other statements that have emerged. Such statements as have been attributed to a junior. We understand that Nalishebo Imata issued a statement that there was reiterating her earlier letter. But who is Nalishebo Imata and the Chief Justice? The Chief Justice is a constitutional office holder. So we'll leave the threats that have been issued to the Chief Justice, not for speculation. We'll leave it to the Law Society there. The Law Society must probe these threats that have been issued to the Chief Justice. Must probe a statement from the judiciary that has been issued without his authority. The statement that is saying there is no petition and therefore Kangwa Patrick can go ahead and swear him in from the Chief Justice. I have just established a few minutes ago that that statement is not official because the Chief Justice did not authorize. It's just a collusion between Patrick Kangwa, who's gone round the Chief Justice, to recant his statement. The statement he issued that he received the petition since submitted it to the Constitutional Court. The letter of the Chief Justice that was in public domain remain valid, and I'm being made aware that Nalishebo Imata has issued this statement with Patrick Kangwa without authority from the Chief Justice and from the office of the Chief Justice. So you can imagine how they are undermining institutions. And when I say a coup has taken place, you people are saying I'm using very hard terms. What do you call soldiers storming totaling centers, soldiers helping change results, soldiers confiscating audit report documents such as Gen 20? What do you call that? What do you call Mwangala Zalumis announcing fake results, refusing to verify the results that she's announcing? What do you call to 1.8 million votes to President Hakainde Hichilema, the closure of courts by the president? What do you call that? What do you call the deployment of troops in our townships and compounds without a state of emergency being declared? What do you call that? A coup has taken place in Zambia by the president. His mandate expired. His mandate expired. We must be very clear. He's a transition president to hand over to whoever is elected. He purports that he's been elected. Our duty and the duty of citizen was to test whether he was properly elected in light of the evidence that has emerged that the ECZ has attributed up to 1.8 million votes to him that he didn't receive. We want an election petition. He has thwarted that process. And as I can inform you here, is that the Chief Justice has not is currently being threatened and was threatened yesterday. People are attributing it to the 1967 Skinner. I don't know what went on. It's up to Lars to establish those facts. It is within their ambit to do that. And of course, not forgetting that he ordered the, they ended up shooting Mutotwe Kafwaya, and as we've heard that they thought that that was Makebi Zulu. Someone says, Ambassador, are you aware that even a young man that sold Starlink for PVT was also arrested and detained? Mwamona. No more ichoaka ele ka initiative wa Dar es Salaam ayasenda ma Starlink atashitishe abarepangama PVT na bamedia na omwana bali mu ikatoyo. Kindly send me the name of the young man that you say was arrested. So let me bring in my team now to assess the fact. The main issues we are running with is the abuse. They will not be tortured, they will not be beaten, they will be subjected to the due process. You and I know that's a lie. You and I know that's a lie. You know, if they can torture George Sanga, if they can torture a poor young man, a Lusaka businessman, a Patrick Mwansa, if they can beat him in the manner, if they can kill Mutotwe Kafwaya, why would the word of the president be valid? If you have a man who's invoking a state of emergency powers without declaring one, the man who's suspending the constitution, the man who's closing courts of law, the man who halted counting because his rival was beginning to be reported as leading. Can this man honor his word? To the two young men, he has spent the last 6 days vilifying that they put up a militia, that they sent people for training. He has put up videos on your public broadcaster, and you have watched them. He has raised hatred against them, that they are militia leaders. Will he treat them well? Is his word valid? You and I need to pray for Makebi Zulu and Brian Mundubile this morning. You need to be on your knees. You need to be on your knees. If you're not praying, I don't know what you will do. But this is what will happen this morning. If President Hakainde Hichilema was decent enough, he should have allowed Brian Mundubile and Makebi Zulu to leave the country. Make assessment when they are, because where they have no funds, they can't reach any of us, they can't reach their family members, they are supervised the last 7 days. So their information available before them is extremely limited. And they might accept. They don't know that he has raised a hate campaign against them on ZMBC every day. That they are militia leaders, that they wanted to take over the country in an unconstitutional manner, that he's hiding the fact that he has lost elections, he's hiding the fact that his soldiers stormed polling centers and polling and totally. He wants to shift the blame to Brian Mundubile and Makebi Zulu, that they are militia leaders, they are causing insurrection in the country, that they are bringing insecurity against him. And all they did is participate in an election. All they did is receive overwhelming support from you. Augustine, please take over. Let me leave this to you. Augustine, where are you?
Ambassador, thank you very much for this opportunity. It's a very, a sad morning, obviously, to learn that the United Nations is about to surrender Honorable Brian Mundubile and Honorable Makebi Zulu to the Zambia police on the understanding that they should proceed because they will be treated according to the rule of law. If we really are to take the president for his word, Mr. Kainde Chilema, I think we have nothing to believe in whatever he says. On us that you can say in the last few days his words of 2016 when he lost an election and was given an opportunity to petition that election. His words from that period, as well as the actions during then, and the manner in which he's handled the situation now that he's in power, are a sharp contrast. Given the power, he is not able to allow anyone to petition the election, to challenge a highly disputed election. This is a man who dispatched a heavy military personnel into the residence of his main challenger, thus leading to claiming the life of Honorable Mutati without an express order from the commander-in-chief during the transition period. So if there's anywhere we need to point about that action, it is the desk of Mr. Hichilema. It is the hands of Mr. Hichilema that are staying people to kill. We would not be mourning our dear brother, Honorable Kafwaya, today. Now, the release of Honorable Makebi and Honorable Mundubile cannot be classified in any other way but a clear opportunity for him to suppress the opposition. There are currently more than 150 people. Some numbers are even reaching up to 300. All of them connected to Honorable Brian Mundubile. Remember that we are talking about the 11. But when you go to Charleston Police, you even have these young men who are merely party cadres. They displayed about 7 pangas, maybe 3. I'm not too sure if they put some pistols there. A few weapons here and there that were displayed, and they were arrested. Those guys have been unfairly charged with treason. They were not part of the evening raid. I think they had raided one of the residences of Honorable Mundubile during the day and arrested these, party supporters, maybe that had come from townships and different places. And those young men with treason charges. Then you arrest people who really cannot be party of any militia of some sort. Bishop Trevor Momb, Council George Chisanga, State Council, Patrick Monsa, the commandos, the drivers, the bodyguards. What guarantee is there that Honorable Makebi and Honorable Brian Mundubile will just walk into force headquarters and they are questioned? What we are getting is that even all the statements they've collected, there is nothing that is pointing to a militia. The case is so weak. It's an extremely weak case, but being driven by a person who's paranoid, a person who believes that seeing Honorable Brian Mundubile and Honorable Makebi on the streets will make his operations very difficult. Yes, there is no one. There are very few, apart from UPND cadres and their surrogates. The country is disappointed. There is no genuine joy about this victory, or so-called victory. This man is imposing himself on the country as a president. Like you have said, he is committing a coup d'etat, and this is an unpopular coup d'etat, because there are some coup d'etats that when the military takes over, people are even happy. People can even go to the streets. But this one is a coup d'etat where the military is involved and the people. President Hakainde Hichilema, any genuine Zambian in seeing this gentleman impose himself, become an imposter president on our country. He's stealing a second term in broad daylight. He has done everything he could to avoid a possible challenge, even through the judiciary. Now we are learning that even those statements that were flying around yesterday could have easily been forged. I got a few phone calls saying, no, these are not genuine statements from the judiciary. The Chief Justice issues a statement in a specific way, and these statements that are coming off the judiciary are not consistent with the Chief Justice position. But these are the same people undersigned who've been issuing this statement over this period from the judiciary. And people are asking, where are these statements coming from when the judiciary is closed and people are not working? How are people issuing these statements? So I think we are in a crisis, and Mr. Hichilema should know this is not the way to run the country. This is not the way to impose yourself, because the people have rejected you. The majority Zambians have rejected. Yes, we do not dispute the fact that there are few who cast the ballot in your favor. There are few who elect you, but this is clearly a stolen election. And if it's a stolen election, it becomes very difficult to govern. And that's why we see any form of opposition being frustrated, being suffocated. But you will not suppress and suffocate the voices for a long time. The people will rise against you. It's a matter of time. You cannot steal an election. You cannot steal a term away from the people. It is the people that give you this responsibility to manage a country. You don't get it by yourself. So whatever happens, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema should remember that power lies in the people. He can force his way through, but this is not going to be for a long time. And remember that since the courts were closed, anyone, and if they submit it has to go to the Constitutional Court, and it is the Constitutional Court who's going to determine whether the closure of the court can erase the 7 days in which a petition should be submitted from the time the declaration was made. That question can only be answered by the Constitutional Court. And if the Constitutional Court reasons because there was a security threat, we therefore cancel the 2 days that the court was cancelled and admit the petition. That petition can be admitted. What are you going to do? You are creating crisis that does not belong to you or the group around you. It belongs to everyone who identifies as a Zambian. And we all have a stake in it. This is why you have to run this country in trust. The people give you the trust to run it. Right now, you were trusted to run it from 2021 through this transition period. But the process has been chaotic to an extent that you have had to shed blood of an innocent man, acting on flawed intelligence information. Isha in that Honorable Brian Mundubile put together is no different from the security system that President Mr. Hakainde Hichilema himself put together. Mr. Hakainde Hichilema has got special forces around the security team. These special forces were part of his security team, security detail when he was in the opposition. They are still part of the security detail in government right now. But at no point did any of his opponents say this is a hypocrisy that we are seeing in the current president. Ambassador, it's unthinkable that, you know, as Zambians, we can even be a laughing stock to a country such as Malawi. We are compared to Uganda. We are being compared to Tanzania. People looked up to Zambia as a model. People looked up to Zambia as a beacon of anymore. The international media has literally scattered us. Our reputation is damaged on the global stage. Even South Africa, which supports, even SABC, which has been biased in supporting Mr. Hichilema, has been forced to put up the correct representation of events at home. I was listening to their broadcast last night. The SADC chairperson, President of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa, has not congratulated Zambia. The chairperson of the Troika, the king of Eswatini, King Mswati, has also not congratulated Zambia. Has had to president. How are you sleeping? And today you want to send the presumed winner of the election into prison because you think that having them outside, you know, will make it difficult for you to enjoy your stolen inauguration, which you are forcing on the people, you know, by ignoring even a legal and straightforward option, which you yourself enjoyed. You were given an opportunity to petition. Yes, we're not talking about whether you lost that petition or if it was thrown out, but at least you were given an opportunity to file it. Why wouldn't you give your friends an opportunity to do as it was done to you? I think Mr. Hichilema has brought Zambia to its knees. Its democratic standing has been messed up. Its recovery will practically be impossible unless he does the right thing. And the right thing is to admit that he didn't win this election and he therefore has to subject this election or this process to a rerun. Without that, the focus on Zambia will be huge.
Perspective. But you see, I wish to first of all to just change a little bit of the perspective. I want to go after the serious men within UPND, the ones that feel betrayed to this level as well, to this extent. Because there are so many of them. But why are they quiet as well? Why can they stand up and support the Chief Justice? It is on this forum, Mamamba, where we call the Chief Justice, but Chief Justice, you have immense power from the time that we've known you, some of us. We were proud when we saw you assume to that office. And for me to hear the Chief Justice has maintained his grounds, that is the Mumba leader that the country is looking for. That is the Chief Justice we are looking for. Let's see if you say no to swearing him in and see who is going to swear him in of this. I was almost using bad language. Don't be part of this evil. Stand your ground, Chief Justice. The entire country is looking up to you. There is no way you are going to allow someone to make. That is what the UPND and the president have been doing. They have been making their work difficult, their work easy, by making their friends' work very difficult. And it's because people are allowing it. You people in UPND, there is also a coup d'etat from people like Waneva Simba, who moves away now, they start working. But start working Waneva Simba for what? A man who should have been looking via stage violation. You can't allow one person to alter the entire course of our country. We are complaining about these things because we know that this is justice which is being denied. But all of a sudden, we go back to the judiciary because you are the people that put us all in line. If you allow to be taken over, seriously, chief administrator and secretary to cabinet, you want to ignore the Chief Justice? You will be made to answer for these things that you're doing right now. All bad things will come to an end. Quietness follows and remains. Even if today you arrest President Mundubile, you arrest him, you take him end of it all, you will be just opening a much bigger political crisis in the country. Because look at the numbers. You can't have 1.8 million staffed figures. Okay, let's put them to test so that we see if these numbers are not there. Why should you use the military? You will know that the military have nothing to do with the civil matters like the election. That is why it is being categorized as a coup d'etat. When the military take over all institutions of the executive, it is a coup d'etat. You are not mentioning it. It is fitting in all instances, it's a jigsaw puzzle. It is fitting. Someone wants to complain, they pick up. Someone says something, you go fish them out. Look at how many people are on camera being beaten by the soldiers. For what? For expressing themselves? We can't have such a scenario. But you want to destroy the entire country because you want to move. When people say no, respect the no. If you think people are not fair, they have evidence, let it be presented to the court. But you can't cut out the evidence. You can't cut out. You go and barricade a crime scene. Mwavika quote as a crime scene. And thank God, the Chief Justice acknowledges. And then the stories we are hearing, Wamukoka, if those stories are true, where the Chief Justice is being threatened, it is destroying our very foundation. as a people, don't destroy the judiciary. Chief Justice, not under your watch should you accept anyone, and I mean anyone, to destroy this country using the office that you have. That office is respected. That office has power. That office can send a person to death and can send a country into turmoil. Don't allow it from any politician to get in there and manipulate you. The Zambians are with you. Many Zambians are with you because we have been doubting the judiciary. Remember on this podcast, I said even today, I still believe that there are good people in the judiciary. They are good people that can stand and say no to this thing. Refuse. Right now, they want to bring President Mundubile and Vice President Makebi Zulu to you. They want to bring those people to you because they have no power to adjudicate or pass a sentence on them. They are bringing them to you, Chief Justice, and your team. And you have seen where this is coming from. You have seen the injustice from when they attack a private dwelling by the commandos. They shoot a former cabinet minister. Then they deny it. After they deny it, they mock. They don't just deny it, they start to mock the people that are complaining. They mock the families. And after mocking them, then they realize that, oh, actually, they can't hide it. They come back with different statements. The next thing, they formulate a militia that does not exist. Zambians have no capacity to take up arms and fight the government. They have no such capacity. Most people in Zambia don't even know how to hold a gun. We are not brutal people as Zambians. That is not who we are. And trying to divide us using a cooked up plan of militias does not hold. There is no such a thing as it's a make-believe. It is meant to fool us. It is meant to divide us. It is meant to make us start to fight one another at family and tribal levels. There is no one killing there. Right now, the only people that are killing are the soldiers and the security operatives. They are the only ones killing. You have not heard a Zambian going after from Mtendere goes to Kanyama to kill. No. There's only one group that is on record of killing people. It is the people that we've entrusted with power to protect. The people with the power to have the guns for protection, not for killing. They are the ones that are doing it. Let's not allow it. Leadership of UPND, other than the people that want to bring confusion to the country, stand up. Because tomorrow it will be you. It will be you, while the same people that are planning all this evil will be looking at elsewhere. Bamamba, you'll be interested to know that some of my very good friends, some of the people we sat ate together, some of the people who would come to my house, I would go to their house. Some of the people we are on the same teams, playing for the pride of our country. Right now, if you see the way we talk to each other, you go like, what went wrong? We were a family. Tualeria monk sauce. Pa university together. We sit down to Today, we can't see eye to eye. Today, when it's all because of this. You cannot start to kill people because they want to participate in the winner. and it takes, that is what Zambia is about. President HH has failed us on that score. He is not unifying us, he's dividing us. And you know it. Most of you know it. Because we can't sit down and talk to each other. You will know, oh, it's the president making the decision. It's the president making the decision. These decisions border on the presidential power. Why is it that we are seeing the presidential power being used in a different way? President Mundubile and Vice President Makebi Zulu are about to walk out, and they are coming into this society. This society, if it were you who was seeking public, you have the power to change the direction this country is about to go into.
Christians right now are fasting. They are on their knees. And Lord Almighty will show that he reigns supreme. At the mention of the name of Jesus, in case you wanted to know, every knee shall bow and every tongue confess that Jesus Christ is Lord. That's what gives us the strength. The UPND cannot win this election. Never. Yes. There is no miracle they can perform to win this election. So they've now resorted to the Tanzania formula. Zambia is not Tanzania. Zambia is not Tanzania. This is Zambia. This is Zambia. Our God, our Lord, shines his light upon this country. This is a Christian nation. Every Christian is on their knees today to pray. And we shall emerge supreme as Christians. So for those that think they can import the ideas that worked in Tanzania into this country, you got it all wrong. So my dear colleagues from Tanzania who've been hired, please get out of this country and go back, please, as Christians. So for those that think they can import the ideas that worked in Tanzania into this country from Tanzania who've been hired, please get out of this country and go. Very concerned by the decision of the judiciary to effectively close down all courts in Zambia today on a ground which is very vaguely and very ambiguously stated as security concerns. Now, we recognize the responsibility of the judiciary to safeguard judicial officers, staff, litigants, and even court premises themselves. So the concern we have really is that the timing of this decision falls within the post-election period, and in particular on the last day of the constitutional window for commencing proceedings to challenge the presidential election results. Now, it is of course already on a public record, candidates has the results, and so it is very troubling that an administrative decision that will effectively serve as a stumbling block to the commencement of that intended action appears to have been made really with no or very little regard for the harm that will be occasioned on that aggrieved candidates in the midst of a very heightened political tension. The state really should be encouraging aggrieved political actors to seek judicial redress rather than creating circumstances or conditions that make it very difficult for that process to actually take effect. We therefore call upon subject of physical reopening of the courts is genuinely impossible. The immediate establishment and public communication of alternative mechanisms through which commencement of actions can be done really needs to be put in place. At the stage of the electoral process where we are, as a country, we do not need fewer avenues for resolving any electoral.
Stop guessing. Start knowing. Subscribe to the EMV podcast on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get the shows. Spend your time with quality information.
We got to the newspapers. Colleagues, quickly take note of the newspapers, and I'll invite your comments. The Times of Zambia is leading with that story. IMF congratulates HH. And police recover stolen ECZ laptop. Remember the one that was stolen by, they are referring to the matter in Mandevu constituents where Kalufianya rain riot. They are also talking about that Zambia for rule of law secretary to cabinet. That's a government newspaper, and I expected to say that the free up Dr. Neo Simtani is pleading, don't kill Zambia's democracy, says Simtani. And Midwife Association of Zambia says Zambia is, has a shortage of up to 9,000 midwives. And Bob Chinga says Zambia has attracted global scrutiny. Indeed, Zambia is attracting global scrutiny. Remember what I was telling you of the reports from across the country. The courts are now open. Yes, because Brad Mundubile hasn't filed the petition. He was the only security threat. It's just a petition. So we agree with you that the security threat is no longer existing. Let's go to Daily Nation. The Daily Nation is going with the story of the new Chinese ambassador who has paid the courtesy call to the president. And my dear brother Charlie, the lawyer, saying the court can justice should be considered. The constitutional lawyer is saying litigants have been left in a limbo as courts remain closed, because courts have remained closed. And we have to watch, colleagues, we have to watch the period for parliamentarians. They may suffer due to these closures as well. Parliamentarians are also, their applications are also time bound. We may need to watch that. Then President Mr. Msoma saying the barricading of courts cannot extinguish the constitutional right to petition, and is right, because that's just a right to, that's just a regulation. It can't override a constitutional right. And the other one would be our newspaper, because we publish 4 times a week. So this is a paper that's still raining. We still insist that what is happening in Zambia is a coup d'etat. And we today's.
Of course, they look at the economic indicators and how things are, and they will give their opinion. Yes, they can congratulate that, because of course the the indicators in terms of maybe the exchange rate and things like that would show that. Then the issue to do with a laptop recovery, we know about this one. We know that we've been talking about the violence that came from the UPND cadres, Kalufianya specifically, who went beating up people. These should be the militias that should be able to be held under that. They are the real militias, and recovering that. They actually even maybe got it before. It's just now that they are announcing it because they knew who got it. So it was very easy to get it back because, it was one of theirs who got. That's my view about, recovery of that laptop. Zambia, as the rule of law, this is the fallacy when you say about Zambia is now the rule of law. It doesn't make sense because you see the rule of law is under attack. The rule of law has been taken out. We are fighting for it right now. It's not that it is there. This is what we are saying. We are urging people to get back and be able to uphold the rule of law. The Mass talks about what President Kaswende Mwenda has called that out on this platform, that there's so many 300 of people that have just been detained without seeing their day in court. Why not take them to court if you think they've done the crime? 3 months, they're now going almost a month and weeks without getting to court. So this is a call. Why are we talking about this? Is why we talk about the rule of law. It's not there. If you can hold 300 people for probably crimes that they've not committed because of political affiliation, it's like they are guilty by association. So the people that have been in custody need to be freed because they are political detainees. There is no crime they committed. They didn't do anything, and we know that that is not a crime. The 9,000, that is huge. That number is correct, but you see, government has to do something about that, and we hope that maybe as the things settle, these are the projections that President Mundubile had in the manifesto in terms of expanding jobs in the health sector. But I hope that the second and the third, I don't know what republic that would be. But if whoever comes in as president, if President HH comes in, that they must be able to security threat no longer. Yes, so there's no security, like we've said to Ambassador. The security threat was the petition. Putting it as a crime scene is something that is just out of this world, and that's what is making people mock us as a country. You go and make a court a crime scene when actually there's no crime that is actually being committed there. You just want to scare people and use military to do that. So as an ambassador, and we hope that he could also play a role in terms of making sure that there is political stability and because with political stability, investment is protected and it is guaranteed. Linda Kasonde managed to actually get to the Chief Justice, and the Chief Justice, that's why he still call upon the Chief Justice to say, can he press upon the judiciary to make sure that that petition is heard, or probably doesn't participate in the inauguration if he thinks that he's being forced to do what is not, it fits the narrative. Only that they're not calling it. They are performing like we're in a state of emergency. Everything is pointing to that, but they've not called it. So that call is on point. That is what I would say on what the papers look like.
Augustine.
Thank you, Ambassador. Watanda has exhausted pretty much all the papers and left me with nothing, but we'll still find the very profound statement from Mo Ibrahim. Mo Ibrahim is a philanthropist and a significant figure who has, had a lot of investment across Africa. In as much as we understand that the IMF would congratulate Mr. Ichilema, of course, these are public relations statements that we see. But what is being discussed in the corridors of they will congratulate Mr. HH just for purposes of congratulating. But these statements really do not mean so much when you look at the impact and the image that Zambia has, attained in the last few days over these sham elections. I think it has left a very bad image on us, and we cannot bury our heads in the sand. Yes, when we look at what they are saying behind the public relations statement, that should ring a bell that we are not on course with regards to the manner in which our country is perceived. You would observe that even our currency, which has been performing strongly in the last few months towards the election, is now already shaking, and that should them to court if you have a case against them. He now needs to employ the 9,000 because wherever he saw, which again, that was the questionable campaign format, because if he had allowed the petition, such kind of promises would have been challenged. So the 9,000 jobs that are, in shortage, we now have to look at Chawama level 1, that is in Lusaka. Look at, Chipata compound, Chipata level 1, and all the surrounding areas. Move away from there, then go to the Copper Belt. What is the staffing levels of our health facilities? All those need to be, the health sector is critical to our population. Reopening the courts, it's a fallacy, first of all, to have closed the courts based on a non-existent security threat. If you and me ask threats, and like both Ambassador and Wachanda have put it, indeed, the only security threat was Brian Mundubile's petition, because even he himself, Brian, was not available to present. He's been holed up in the UN. Trump assassinated the man. You were looking for Makebi to kill. Unfortunately, you killed another life. You didn't get Makebi. You are looking for Brian Mundubile to assassinate. You missed the target, and therefore you dragged him in. So tell that there was no security threat. Where was the security threat coming from? I mean, we must be an embarrassment of a country if really we can be scared of nothing. We arrest people accusing them of being a militia. These services, these are politicians, these are, accredited, clergy. Former Lars president, you arrest him and throw him in cells as a militia. What are you thinking? Then a few days later, you come, security threat are we talking about? I mean, look at the population. They are not happy. They are displeased. You can tell when you talk to the people in Zambia that they are not happy with the outcome of the election. The majority of it. Close all the courts, including the Industrial Relations Court, which has nothing to do with the Constitutional Court or the petition. You literally, what kind of paranoia is this? I mean, it would be good to know how Mr. Ichema was brought up, because you see, you cannot be scared of your own shadow. It's not good for him. I don't know how he sleeps, because I doubt if he even sleeps. You cannot just be scared. You're creating unnecessary fear in people. It's as if, Zambia is at war with itself. You see, because you are acting out of unnecessary fear, out of lies that you are told. You believe everything that you're being told. And not every information that people bring to you as a leader is correct. Most of the information people bring to our leaders is wrong information, because people are interested in their own positions, and they create unnecessary tension. They create a negative thing and think that it is correct. Then you're making a mistake. You're not supposed to be in that position, because you haven't reached the maturity levels of understanding and appreciating the responsibility you hold. The courts were not supposed to be closed. We needed the courts, which is a presidential petition being filed within the time as prescribed by the Constitution. That is very, very unfortunate, and history will never forgive us for this period. And back on Zambia, again, these are courtesies. We expect them. There's somebody who's sitting in as a transition president, in as much as not been sworn in for the next stolen term that they are pushing. Talked about our big man, Mr. Patrick Kangwa. Is really a let down. It's very, very difficult, and it's very hard to even imagine that this is a man we once respected. Lose. He probably has 5 years or less in the civil service. He may not even be secretary to the cabinet in the next 3 months or so. He will do the dirty work. Why be the pawn in the grand scheme of things? Why allow yourself to be messed up towards the evening of your career? I mean, I just don't understand that Mr. Kangwa himself, can be the man at the center of being ascertained to have been forged. The Chief Justice, the head of the judiciary, is not in sync with the correspondence from the secretary to the cabinet. I mean, why should Mr. of a better term rubbish? I mean, it's totally unacceptable for a man of his repute, somebody who's been in the civil service. He's a career civil servant, ambassador. He's been in the civil service probably for close to 30 years now. Himself, DMMU, he served literally all the positions that you can think of. Today he's secretary of the cabinet. Look at the mess he's creating around his name. I mean, I really find it very, very unfortunate for the big man. And
thank you. Let's just quickly update you on the letter by Mo Ibrahim and Mtoto Kafuaya's issue, and then we open the phone lines.
Wake up to this morning news analysis show. On what the papers say, we frame key facts to provide a balanced perspective, set the national agenda, and focusing on cross-referencing newspaper coverage with primary data, expert and special guests to offer an in-depth, Emmanuel Mwamba verified.
Thank you very much. Mo Ibrahim is a prominent Sudanese billionaire, philanthropist. He's remembered very well when he revolutionized the mobile telecommunications in Africa. I think he owned Airtel. I don't know what it was called then. Made billions. But he has now been globally recognized as a promoter of, human rights, extensive work for good governance. He even offers the Mo Ibrahim Prize, where a former president, wins this prize. You have to pledge that you leave office free, and he gives you $5 million to run your office, and he puts you on, on some per diem of $200,000 a year. When President Hakainde Hichilema won election, President Hakainde Hichilema, like many people that he showed an array of light to Africa, that was a new leader who came on a popular vote and supported by young people, and that was going to restore the rule of law, expand democracy, human rights, and other things. And Mo Ibrahim, you find him in the circuits of UN discussions, in Switzerland, in G20, in Rwanda, Kigali, for those good governance records. You find him African Union, wherever there are all these good issues with presidents, former presidents, and good governance in Africa. And like President Hakainde Hichilema, when President Hakainde Hichilema won elections, and you didn't believe what he wrote yesterday. Oh my. He says, President Hakainde Hichilema, you are throwing away Zambia's rich legacy. The arbitrary arrests of your opposition members, the killing of a former minister, and the deadline for challenging the election result only adds to this mess. Zambia has had the proud legacy of competitive elections, peaceful transfer of power, and respect for constitutional processes. You are defiling this legacy, President Hakainde Hichilema. Look for that letter by Mo Ibrahim. And he summarizes what many leaders who had initially supported President Hakainde Hichilema are feeling, a sense of betrayal. They never saw the dictator that Zambians had seen when they gave it in Zambia. We have Honorable Elder Kafuaya's funeral update today in the afternoons, 27th August 2026, at the Tabernacle of David Assembly City Mission Church in Zambia. I think it's around Chalala, Libala, I think behind Chilenje, the Tabernacle of David Assembly, Father Harrison Sakala's church, where Honorable Mtoto Kafuaya was an elder for 20 years. They'll be holding a memorial service, a funeral service for the late Honorable Mtoto Kafuaya. I know that the postmortem has not been done yet, so it could be a memorial service, a honoring program. We understand Chief Mpepo said Honorable Mtoto Kafuaya will be buried in Lunte, in Kasama, after the initial processes are done of when they've done the post-mortem and other things. But there is that church service, and we'll encourage you to go there. Go and mourn this gallant son of our country that was shot in Ken without just cause and justification. Please do that. We are tracking a story and we want your phone calls. What will you do? Brand Mundubile Makebi Zulu are expected to be handed over to the police today. They'll be handed over through a group of pastors that were men of God, that were put together by both Cabinet Office and State House and Pentecostal Assemblies of God, whose overseer and senior pastor for North Mid Assemblies of God. We have Archbishop Ignatius Chama, President of the Zambia Conference of Catholic Bishops. We have Bishop Sinyangwe. They haven't told me where he comes from. So what is supposed to happen at a particular time in the morning, the lawyers are expected to go into the United renders Brand Mundubile and Makebi Zulu to the lawyers and to the UN, who then brings them to face lines, and let's hear from you.
Reflections on what the papers say. We frame key facts to provide a balanced perspective, set the national agenda, and focusing on cross-referencing newspaper coverage with primary data, expert and special guests to offer an in-depth look at daily stories. Live on EMV, I'm talking about Emmanuel Verified.
The phone lines are open. Please make your call quickly. We want to allow our guests to go, and also for us also as hosts to rest. So make your call discussing. Now is the time for you to call. Make the calls. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from, and make your contribution.
Okay, let's just say I'm anonymous.
Anonymous, make the contribution.
Yes, I think I feel very disappointed with the move by the United Nations to release our leaders in the hands of a wicked government such as this one. We know what they're doing. They don't want anything to do with the criticism against HH, and they've said clearly in their preamble, statements. On and on, they've repeated themselves saying, anyone who stands in the way of. Why would the United Nations release our leaders? The hope of this country, why would they leave our leaders to be so vulnerable? Because taking them to the service headquarters and looking at those is handing them over to the paws of a lion, the person to reason with. So I feel very uncomfortable with the move. We cannot go on like that as a country. We are used to democracy, and then this man doesn't want. There will be no more future elections in Zambia. They are going to alter the constitution, and they want him to become a life president. We cannot go back to a one-party state. We can't. I think for me, I'm not comfortable with the release. The UN must not release our leaders and hand them over to government. No. The UN must just protect our leaders by all means. Thank you.
They won't. What will you do? Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from, and make your contribution. Endita.
United Nations na waba bantu taparetu watu wafana msimo ifya kwebati bamwambara nguba konfomwe bali papaneo ya kwebati naba pepeka kunkala ero waya sera mapamo nangu wabutukira ku bantu kwebati bakwafwe bala bantu ya bafokerera kwebati bale kwafwa uti bakusenda abantu bamuhebe bakutwala mukanwa kankala efire kikalendera ife arachi kati bati ero ba uri onzo akulala ero chakula ndandira nemuina Zambia kweba kukuntuleya ekyalo kwani kyafika obuteeko bwaba ekyeeki n'atufiro okweba twakwaba n'ensu twalekera pulani Mundubile Makebi Zulu baya mukubalya kukanwa kankala efe alakikana okusitapa mwamba takuli nefe akweba ti abo bonse abo mapastors abeeryoko tapali balifira okwafwa ero twafikire kuma election ero fyale ekiteefu nga pero balako kweba ti bapulani Mundubile Makebi Zulu baleendera kabiri kyabulanda kwa lwaba mtoto tafwaya kumona ifo bene kwebe na Zambia kusango kweba ti muntu baifaya kumulando wa mapoliti nekyalo nikuisatulea wekyalo kyesu kya Zambia lero bamwamba ina pefingi efo ningalanda da kweba ti ndelira mumutima wandi ndelira n'okuyirira nemu okumona kweba ti mfwewo twakitabye trey kweba ti aba bantu abena Makebi Zulu plan Mundubile na bonse bali abantu bayikati okweba ti baletita mu mapya yayi omulando wafo bene kwebe na Zambia omulando wa mwenso undu tukwete lero bali ekyeeki kaba kitobufuwa bwawo bintu bali okukitakali aba bantu atotera bamwa
fire. The Tabernacle of David is along Lilai Road off Tokyo Way Ring Road. This one says it's along Given Lubinda Road. Thank you for that. I think our people can find it. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Ambassador Mwashuken and the panel.
Thank you.
Ambassador, I just want to take you back in 19 during the Rwanda's genocide. There were a lot of signs which indication and report Rwanda, and they are just put up in a blind eye until the thousands and thousands of people were murdered. Zambia. Just as the previous scholar has said, takwaba omuntu abutukalefu obwafuirisho then mwaesa mwanombe nkala mwelesa mulemu bwekesha takwaba filia. Under the international law, the UN cannot do that. One, why am I saying this? Bamwamba first, our country has demonstrated that there is no rule of law by closing the courts. Have never UN, the same guy who has been sent as the representative from the United Nations. Now, today is the fourth day. There are no court proceedings. It means our constitution has already been suspended or it has been liquidated. We don't have a constitution in the country. Now, if you have a country where the courts have been closed, either today or tomorrow. Now, if you say it's been and Rivara stand over Kuwama men of God, first credibility of Joshua Banda is very doubt. Looking to the law he played during the death, during the burial impasse, Yaba let former President Edgar Lungu. Now, Bishop Chamana Bambia pastors, Chimo. You cannot give a guarantee to the Zambian authority, not even a single inch and everything, unless we Zambians, we just says our two brothers that are going to be a lamb, they are going to be slaughtered because they participated in the justice will prevail first. You're in a investigation. Subject to treason and ufimbi. The only thing echovakwatira abantu kubasapota nabantu bavotera filia emulandu bapangile bamwamba you are there in United States. I know you have been trying to educate the Zambians. What role are they going to play? We have got to explain what is happening in Zambia. There is no way at even a single, not even the lawyers, not even a sympathizer of Mundubile Makebi are listening to allow even those who do Abashima people who are stand over chimo fye kuti mwabika fye pa utambo kweva nomba vapisha pwemiele nangwama nice for being a sacrificial. That thing mwamba is not attainable, and I'm appealing to you. We not the way you are going to save this country. It's a time of Mordecai and the niece Esther, when the decree was about to pass on the children of Israel. Ini trap baba pela baba biri. Fashima people, they cannot do anything. HHF ala banyengerera ala nakanga kamuli ala. Chimu kweba filamuchibe batulando kwebati. Ngawasanga sikamu pepe wala mufu yala kuchita. FHH abachita. Afuka fenga kamuli ala tiao nishimbe ala konka mafunde waleteni. Ngabafu masembulia will live to regret. I thank you, Amwamba.
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
I'd rather be anonymous.
Thank you, anonymous. Make your contribution.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mwamba. I think I'll start by saying what your guest were, the question that your guest asked. And that's a question that we all ask. And that's a question that I ask most of my colleagues when we are sitting or chatting about this country. The question is, what conscience does President Hakainde Hichilema has? What type of a person is Hakainde Hichilema? What does his conscience tells him when he goes to bed? Sleep with his family, discuss just like a normal human being. Is he a normal person like all of us in privacy or behind the curtains? Those are questions we are asking. Because a normal person, Ambassador Mwamba, cannot do such bizarre thing now. We are now a laughing stock. Like in Malawi, there's a program there in Malawi where they laughed at us like no man's business, laughing that and that journalist on Malawi, one of Malawian television, said such kind of a thing has not happened even in Uganda, where you believe they are dictators than a dictatorship. In Zambia, what we are seeing today, not even in Kaunda time, Kaunda will label the dictator. Such things never happened. We've never had Kaunda changing results for parliamentary, for the MPs and give someone else who has lost. We realize how Kaunda time used to elect MPs, where 4 people stand on the UNIP ticket, and then the people choose. Then the one who wins and goes to parliament. Kaunda time, we can't even. Kaunda was even more of a democrat than President Hakainde Hichilema. And you can just replicate. You see what is happening. What happened in Tanzania? The opposition leader there was charged with the treason. And here again, the opposition leaders are being charged with the treason. You can go to Uganda. It's the same slate HH is using. The slate Suluhu used to echo what the previous caller, saying handing over these people, it's like risking, because now it's like our government really don't care about human life. See how we have lost Gafwaya. See how we have lost a young man into the Gafwaya. A vibrant young man, a promising young man, a young man who has not even enjoyed his life yet, a young man who's trying to put food on the table for his children, a young man who worked so hard for his family. I feel sad, Mr. Mbamba.
Things are piling up. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
In East London, I'm Caroline.
Thank you. I'm quiet.
In Zambians. If we never left for hand over, what is our reaction? And if for Zambia, this thing, no, it's not about Brian, it's not about Makebi Zulu. about us Zambians. To allow Tashani because our empalume esho tumwene ataba ema leaders. Olo nombanga to abachita hand over kuchirwani. Chala abashani ifo fine poema Zambians ifo poema Zambian to allow Tashani because umwenso ewala lenga aba impalume shesu bale abashtunge umuthi wakweba namumona. So apapene ifo fine it's not about by you and by you and bale fokumona ifo to ingachita tutu stashani twakwebati twalekeresha ifwe abanani kane besu baya batita hand over abo bashuma pepo bamwamba wesu nishita bayimine nishiba mwena tamakoti ya isadika baya mweba because inchito shabo bena abo bashuma pepo abo kuli ba nani kane kuya bebati isuleni amakoti nomba kutuba imashani la bamona kuba stand over mushe ushima pepo tulefu ayobu imeni mwema Zambia na mikoselesha imeni ukuluisha ukwebati aba keni batu ipaile pamone ntungulu shishesu because then ntungulu shishesu shere kweshine bamwamba na mumona bakala babalela ndati bamwangala na abajoyi nakale so ababeni intungulu shishesu mwema Zambian ndelanda kuma Zambian imeni sen please.
Thank you very much. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Emmanuel Mwamba. We are in a serious predicament in Zambia. The President has managed to bring this country to primitive ages. That is where we are now. My view is that Brani Mundubile and Makebi Zulu shouldn't have been handed over to President Hakainde Hichilema. I want to agree with the first caller, proven in more ways than one. You know, Brani Mundubile and Makebi Zulu should have been handed over to a third party, not to President Hakainde Hichilema. No, there is no one who can trust President Hakainde Hichilema as things stand today. You know the history, the background of President Hakainde Hichilema. You know how President Hakainde Hichilema treated this now work. You know how President Hakainde Hichilema treated the Garu. You know how President Hakainde Hichilema treated the people whom he has been arresting. And you get all these issues that they are putting up crap. News, legal recourse that people can go through. And when you close the courts, what do you expect? What do you expect when you're closing the courts? If people can't find justice in our courts of law, what do you want them to do? What do you want them to do tomorrow? Because tomorrow, you are the ones who will be complaining. Whenever we feel aggrieved, we go through the courts of law. You get the court of law, put them in your pocket. Dictating judgments, procuring your own judgments, putting on the judges to be delivering judgments that are in your liking all the time. President Hichilema has managed to bring this. You see, I've been wondering, where are these other opposition political parties? Very interesting, you can laugh. Where are they? What are they saying? Where are their press briefings? When when Freddie Membe, can't they? Everybody's being scared. Everybody's gripped with fear. Very interesting. A dictator must be told right on his face. This is not it. I told President Hakainde Hichilema, my brother. I told you, my brother, this is 21st century. This is not a time you can be a dictator. You can't be a dictator in 21st century. Okay, all these people who are, they're just behaving like if they have been bought, all of them, the opposition leaders.
Thank you, my brother.
I'll be back.
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Nameless. Well, I've got a few points to make here. Number one, we are on the shoot. Yes. I'm appealing to all the members of the UPND to consciously sit down and think of what they are doing is something right. If they have all agreed that they should hand over Makebi Zulu na Mundubile, but hand over now. And one thing they should not forget, Chakwibati, once Makebi Badibendisha. Number Washala is where civilians. Hello?
Yes, caller. Please continue. You need to quickly wind up.
There was a distraction, so Washala is for civilians. Since Bale soldier, Bale Baka Pokola, Wikatago. Prison. But when you put your petty polomba, we buy a one say. Once I had in Tifungo Bamba, Vaume, Nakulumu Pamakasa, Ale Chula. I am one of the Nakulumutinda. I'm appealing to the members of the UPND. I'm so glad that Chief of Justice has put his ground. Mwinaka kupokereshe niko tuapapata. Era na imone ni mwema soja. Mwalipata magilitips. Iwa wapa pukona. Mwalipata magilitips. Nero mwatu puisha. And most of
your contribution.
Alaba mwamba mafumbeni mkwai.
Endita.
Mkwai mwamba chitepo contribute. Mwamba yepile chitika mchalo. Wafika kwa extent ya kwa tinga wamona namba. Eshina ya mtongo tawishi. Ibe phone. Wafula no kwasuka watina. I'm attributing to what happened to me. I'm pale human rights. Before change. I dodged the until somebody else called me. I will check to them before and it could program me. And I was even sharing with that person yesterday. But you see what is happening now. We are so divided. To the divide. It's so bad because now and you can imagine they're still saying, hey, to Jesus, our Lord Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ became our sacrificial lamb. If you earn a sanctuary, where UN is the one that is even involved in ensuring that countries by UN ever that. Coming again to Joshua Banda and all these so-called believers that have been said, like the Shama people, but they fiance, they love us to me. At my elections that you know, people, Tabarunga Takudi, Bon Sabata council of churches or whatever they call them. There have been no truth. These so-called pastors and whatever, they are so hopeless. They are men of God. They just want God. Obviously, now I submit, Ramwam. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Hello, Ambassador Mwamba. I will remain anonymous.
Yes, anonymous.
Yes, it's very sad what is going on in the country of Zambia. Of course, our congregation has no consideration at revenge. This man had access to the body. Whatever part he took. You know, so I don't know why he should continue frustrating everybody. And the Chief Justice, please, if you can just put his foot down for the country of Zambia, because it's something is very bad for even his family. If he can stand up and say, we've got the petition, and I declare Chief Justice, and I pray, I decree and declare that he will not be sworn in on the
Mama, speak louder, speak louder. We barely can hear you. I don't know if you are far away from the phone. I don't know.
No, I don't know if you can hear me, but I'm just saying.
Or are you using Bluetooth?
Hello, can you hear me?
That's better. Please now say what you want to say.
Yes, so I'm saying,
Yeah, sometimes avoid the speakers. They do not. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Anonymous.
Yes, anonymous. Make your contribution.
I just speak on Makebi Zulu and the of.
Makulansheni.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. To be truthful, by Jama pastors like that one from Pentecostal Assemblies, that one from West Year. For me, I don't trust them because I was Pentecostal Assemblies. I even moved because of him. I'm no longer there because I knew who he is. And to be truthful, today when I was coming in town, along Great North, just going to get people who are innocent. They have not done anything wrong. What is it? Where did we go wrong? What happened? Like vengeance. Today I was stand to start for.
Oh, thank you. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Hi, my name is Katumbi.
Make your contribution.
My contribution is very simple. If we look at what is happening in our country right now, is it looks like the government has got what we call selective amnesia. Look at what happened when Mutatu Kafwa was killed. Yeah, they said they didn't know where Mutatu Kafwa was. We had Tauka Wana and that other PS go to Mainasoko. They went there and they were mocking the death. Look, 5 days later, they came back and said they confirmed that Mutatu Kafwa was dead. Then today we have Chief Justice who say the few days, I think hours ago, the Chief Justice was saying that the petition was filed in. Yeah? Then later on, we hear that there's no petition. Then we have Zumani Zimba, who says, let us have a unity government. Honestly, what sort of government do we have? Then the president says he didn't know that the courts were closed. The courts were closed. So who is running the government? All those are questions. We've got question marks. The president doesn't know that the courts were closed. Then we have Hamasaka come in and say the president didn't know about this. Who's running the government? Is the army running the government? Honestly, this is very sad. This is very sad. In conclusion, you know, the judiciary has to be independent. The judiciary has to come up and say, because we've got the signatures and the letters whereby the petition has been received, then who produced that letter? We have to be serious as a country. That's why now we are a laughing stock. We need to make sure from whoever is running the government, because it looks here and then that the president is not running the country. Even Patrick Kangwa, he knows he's being used, of which we've seen that where the president is using people to peddle his agenda. Patrick Kangwa is being used. Chief Justice confirmed that they have received the petition, and later on we see that the petition is not there in courts. Honestly, what country are we in right now?
Thank you, thank you very much.
In conclusion, we need to make sure the people who have died has to be investigated, because the UN Charter is clear. Aggression has to be reported to the ICC. We need to report some of these things to ICC. Thank you so much, Ambassador.
Thank you very much. Come and make your contribution.
But let's just call this what it is. We've experienced the coup in Zambia. The coup is not just militarily, you know, these offices, the presidential office, the judiciary, the ECZ, and the army have actually collaborated together to instigate this. They've denied our vote. That's why they can't count it properly. That's why they closed the courts. People have to get used to President Ichinama's shenanigans. We've seen it for the last 5 days. 5 years, sorry, not days. He's been doing the same thing over. He lies come earlier, and then by the time you get to know the truth, the man is not bent on leaving the seat just as yet. So handing over, they'll be delayed. You know, he wants to revenge on every other cycle. They'll be in prison, they'll be in anything. It won't actually yield anything else. You take him out when he feels like taking him out. By then he will have done whatever he wanted to do. So let's not probably even think any otherwise. But the question is, we've been through this cycle, Mamwamba. Some of us who are old enough, we've been through this cycle. Until the Zambians get tired of Ichilema, that's when they'll rise. So now what we're looking at is a cycle that we're going through. Bambiama Zambians, they'll give up on him until such a time comes. But what will happen in the meantime with Brian and as well as Makebi, we don't know what will happen to these people. I would rather they had been thrown out someplace else. But for now, even the next 5 years, it won't be a democracy as it is. They'll give us who to run against. There's no democracy. It's gone, my brother. We don't even have to talk about it. It's gone. If you deny the masses vote, let's go back a little while ago, 2024, Edgar Lungu said this. You know, people just did not really put their minds to what he was saying. He says, look, what stops us in that office is actually the Constitution. Now, the Constitution does not speak. It's things written. It says this is only what stops us to do what we want to do, listening to the Constitution. Edgar Lungu said this. So he was telling us Zambians, it's either you rise now or this peace thing, we've been through it. This peace thing, there's no peace anymore in Zambia. It's peace to whatever is ruling and whatever. The people at the bottom here, these marketeers, they won't feed anything. There's nothing going on with them. You won't touch them. But it's when you start rising, into those offices and anything else, when you start agitating his governance, that's when you see the claws of it coming into it.
Thank you, my brother.
We have experienced the coup.
Yes, indeed.
I called and it wasn't clear. I was just saying that this man is trying to get back at Makebi because of what happened in South Africa. He's very upset, even if he had access to that body. And I was just talking, Chief Justice, please put your foot down, because you are planting a very bad seed for the people that are coming. Please, the judiciary, the Chief Justice, put your foot down. Look at the rule for 3 months. Look at the rerun. Now, before I talk to you, abakalamba bayakofye n'amadopeless n'amabwafeka ikamukuchita protest abakalamba na 65 and above, and nabe n'amaplacard Mrs. Ichilema bamuteeka twafweniko ekyalo kyesu, because if we don't do anything now, it's the end, unless somebody will just do a Muslim president and he also dies. Because people that want power, that are hungry for power, don't get tired. That Ziela is saying, and he's saying, no, me, I can do a coup. And he can do a coup against him. So please, as family, let them talk and just behave themselves. And what is happening really? My mother died a long time ago, but I don't think she would have less integrity. I don't think she would have such immorality. Really, whatever it's for, whether it's for the daughter, whether it's for herself, that's just ridiculous. I submit and I'm praying. In Jesus' mighty name, I decree and declare. We are in the New Testament, and He's a God of now, and He will hear us. In Jesus' mighty name. It will not happen. They will live and declare the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. They cannot be praying in tongues for nothing. In Jesus' mighty name.
Want to make a contribution? Hello, caller. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
Yes, hello, good morning. This is Mutinta. I'm calling you with Lusaka.
Mutinta, make your contribution.
Good morning. Yes. For the past, I think, close to a month, these people cannot be trusted. And I'm not understanding. I don't know if he's just buying time for 5 years, because we all know that these elections were rigged. We all know that he is not the leader that he's supposed to be. We all know that this man is a dictator. So I don't understand what is going to happen. He is going to do something bad to Mr. Brian Mundubile and Mr. Makebi Zulu. And they shouldn't be trusted. These people that are handing them over should not be trusted. So we should be worried about their safety. That is my contribution.
Thank you very much. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us. Yes, Anonymous, make your contribution.
Hand over the Brian Mundubile and Makebi Zulu to the But we don't have a president who keeps on behaving like a mad person. And then they call it Mingarato. Zambia is a Christian nation. You can't do a charo Mingarato. To take a charo Nagatina Kakwalisa. And that's why we can see Facebook. Their supporters are separate. That's very never. What does that mean? This is the president who said they are masquerading themselves as a political party. And somebody in the background said, Bayen de Gujere boss. And then he said, it's Nanguchipani. What does that mean? What we can do is just to rise up and defend our country. Zambia is ours. Zambia does not belong to one person or to the other. And those pastors who have been chosen by the government, those are cadres, the likes of Joshua Panda. Where were they when people were being killed? They were quiet. And today they want to act like champions to say, doesn't work like that. They think the only thing we can do currently is to pray for our leaders. Thank you.
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Good morning, Rama.
Good morning.
Zephania is my name.
Thank you, Zephania. Make your contribution.
Yeah, I ask the UN not to hand over Mundubile Makebi Zulu. The script has been already written. They have been labeled to be militia. When they did almost 57 rallies, they campaigned President Hakainde Hichilema is not satisfied. All what he wants to see is to see those people not to. We will ask the UN, please protect those two gentlemen, because handing over to them is and we know what is want, and we know what has been happening. Today, our country is corrupt in all departments, and no one is going to protect them. And we know that what President Hakainde Hichilema is forgetting. So for how long is he going to treat people like that? So the best is that Zambians, like other callers have said, this battle is stand up. Where we walk in 03 to vote for Mundubile and Makebi Zulu. This is the time again we should stand up in a peaceful protest. We want to save our brothers. President Hakainde, go back to democracy. After 35 years of being democratic, we have gone back to one participatory democracy. And this is what is happening. So even the church, those church bishops and so forth, they are going to play a role of pirate where they want to hand over our two men who was fought, who wanted to set the battle. Because when you look at from 1964 to date, 7 is a completion. And we wanted, by using the soldiers, police, the courts, everything is corrupt. Even if they have opened the courts today, they are just trying to play a game. And we know the last 5 years that President Hakainde Hichilema, he has preached the constitution many times. So who is going to believe him? Even UN should not believe. They know that this man, he doesn't mean well for this country. Thank you very much.
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Good morning, Ambassador.
Good morning.
Okay, MK6 calling you from Pretoria.
Yes, my brother.
Yeah, I didn't want to call in because my emotions are very high. But I thought, let me calm down before. I've just seen one. Headline, or maybe some developing story where the family of Mutati Fire are saying that they found the body in the mortuary lying from his wristwatch. To say, are we living in a cult kind of country where everything else has to be spiritually or maybe satanic? Because there are those things that have been done behind closed doors that raises a lot of questions. You know? Rumor or maybe report coming in from the UN that they want to hand over our two by rising up and be with them. It means we go with them to the police. I think that will send a message. Just this morning around 01, I had to write to Pierre Lumumba. I think you've observed that he has been quiet because he's an ally to HH. And I had to petition him to say, Pierre Lumumba, you've spoken to governments, you've spoken to leaderships across Africa, across the world. Why are you mute? And all he says is, I hear you, you know? And this is the same thing that I have seen in Zambia. Most of these service chiefs and the like, the Chief Justice, and whoever is doing whatever they are doing, they even know that what they are doing is reclaim that money. Can we rise up as a people, defend democracy, defend these duo who are incarcerated? Because as far as I know, they are incarcerated already. Because if you don't move, even if you are in your house, but you can't move, you are better off being incarcerated. So let's stand up. If that is true, can we rise up in the streets, go with them wherever they want to take them? If it means we sleep at the prison cells there, we also sleep there, outside.
It's a traditional Anonymous.
Yes, Anonymous, make your contribution.
Yeah, I think I just want to concur with the previous caller. You know, Fiancé to learn that each movie, you know, if you got up on my election, now if you take a number to feel it to watch the act. Why you ending the way to ala Makebi Mundubile stand over to the government or HH. Now if we have to rise, because if we are going to today and interpret the Mumbai night, Kumana post office we just agree as we are going through Sakari, but this is the time to start. So nile longer kwamba to we were more ready to send a number where we can start mobilizing. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
Nikukopa Belti, Anonymous.
Yes, Anonymous.
Mkwa, inatarafu kulanda kufendele. Chichavi pasana. Liwa ni fufini wale, tufale stand over. Because we presentaka inde ichilema. Kwamba fyo utungurushi wabufi. Aba atalala ndakwe shinka. Ngaba kupele chisuma mataito fye. Bakwata fya mataito. Mumone pa chiro cha balungu. Muntu ali muchitumbi baditumbi mo bale mutina. Uli muchitumbi nafwa bale mutina. Nombo wachi ba uli mutuntu. Bale chino muntu uli muchitumbi badwali shibe.
bali shibati balungu bakala bashupo baje bali mu situmbi namwe nabalefwayo kubakwisha bapaka babamonefu bala bocha nanga tushinga kuba bikira po chiri ngakuba lyakatwishi ifintu fimo aba bantu amena ama ifufema ama bishops aba onse fie katushe fo baba mone fie leta bane basi mbo ba fie bale amukutwekinga pa maladi eba abatuntu bose balepita kumba lino kuikala kabungwe konze kamukeni echo balefwaya kukwisha opposition intapali no wakulanda kuna ngufeu nabeshi bati mubena Mundubile yose idya loyalty ayipali balungu ili pawe na Mundubile na banani kana na Makebi Zulu so naba kwatali amano nabeshi wala mu kingdom of darkness nabeshi bati aba eba sindire right ya balungu so mu kingdom of darkness nabeshi bati ngatwa shimya abani twashimya right abonse ni bakuwe bakaraba ni bakuwe bakebye ni bakuwe ekibe minine mu rubuto ngura iminine banani kale nombo baende so rabish bashonse so our prayer yakwabati tekeni fwede somwine afikirishe because uyure jiringa naba nielo dini falao uwe foko na ora donse icho lesale ini ba falao ni ntungurushisha abasha mbayi bosho twale mfafu mbayi twisho tuberenga lero neshintungurusha ama pastors ose twale berenga lero twambo kula mu Zambia kwabati abamaza ama bishops bonse aba bonse ni bamukukuru sifire ndemyeba ba bishops besumba ndi bamukukuru aba mona abantu balesumyo mulopa wa mtoto kafwa usharera kana abantu pasa ifo tulepepa tuli babofu bakwaza baji tulepepa no machire tukalipa kubantu abalese banyande board of class abantu abali kunta shinga bakalamba nabafyasha abayishi batwalishi baleso abakusaidi kutu abashayi no muntu leipa abantu umuntu lechusha abena Zambia muko mulebera kusaidi nato trabamwa.
Thank you very much. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Anda na bobakanya baba UN kutitali lizba Mundubile na Makebi Zulu. Please. That we want to play dealing now. How can they even say that? Please, could you have to England and Avalande Kona by United Nations? Cash Bafumiemo Muzambia, Baba to Aleko Kucharuchim, you could rock about Pera Kuliba Kaindi. That's what I want to make criminals, Baba stay and over Kuliba Kapukon. You know, can talk to Balande Kona by United Nations. That's why I end up like but the money
Oh, our line is cut. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make a contribution.
Thank you. This is Mother. The mother of Zambia is back.
Make your contribution.
Yes. First and foremost, this decision by UN to hand over my two sons as a mother, I'm not happy about that decision. What security details are in place, I would want to know as a mother of Zambia, because my children be annihilated. I say so, I refer to the Bible, the account of Isaac and his wife Rebecca. The wife was expecting twins. And as a mother, she was told you are going to have sons. The older will save the younger. She eventually delivered, the children grew, And we are told there was a time when the order came from whatever he was doing, he came very famished and asked for eating. And you know, there was an exchange there. The soap and the mantle of leadership there. So that order relinquished his position to the younger because of his belly. Then, at the time the father was about to go, we know the Jewish law, he had to tell him, before I go, I'm dying, you have to prepare this meal the way I love it, so that when I'm going down, when I'm dying, I go on a full belly. That firstborn goes to prepare the meal. The mother was listening in to the plot. The one that wasn't caught said, son, I heard your father saying this and that and that. So you quickly bring this animal, we prepare and what. There was that. Then there's, Mom, Dad knows my elder brother is hairy and all that. Said, that's a small issue. We'll know what to do. So the day the mother's plot worked.
Mama, what would you want to say? We have Mundubile and Makebi.
Let the mothers, thank you, let me. The Makebi and Mundubile is, my point is the cost clear for United Nations to hand over these two sons to the Zambian law? Which constitution, which is in the pocket of the army commander? So they are releasing them to what? To who? Because that is my concern. The politics of the baby. If that UN, whoever is arbitrating over this issue with those so-called men of God, when there was that raid on Mundubile's home, did those so-called men of God go? Did they issue any statement? They've been silent. Let them remain silent even now. I don't even want to hear anything like Joshua Banda. Which God is he representing? Which God is he representing? Because they want us to be annoyed and go out and they start shooting us so that we become a statistic in Africa, and then the mineral resources that have already been given, they can.
Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling from and make your contribution.
Yes, I'm calling from Wapula.
Make your contribution.
To tell you the truth, yes, people here in Wapula, they are ready. They are ready to go in the street, people in the villages. I've talked to them, even the chiefs. But what we want is just now that people would start demonstrating. Even those in Lusaka, the only way we can save Mundubile and Makebi is to go on the street and demonstrate, surround all these district offices and start demonstrating peacefully and shout for their relief. All those we know Joshua Banda is, Nikandile, and the other people. Maybe the only regrettable there is Archbishop Chama, but he also be overpowered. The only way is for us Zambian students. This man doesn't need any future for the Zambian church. It's him and his family and his cronies. The only way, let us demonstrate and show him that we are not happy the way we voted but voting didn't work. Now we should go in the street and demonstrate. I rest my case.
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Good morning, Mr. Mwamba.
Good morning.
Yes, my heart is filled with fear. I don't know why by you in Valadekira ko Awama boys vase in an because they say no, the church here, what the church has been quiet. From the time Dr. Kafaya died, the church has been quiet. What guarantee do we have? Sad because really democracy it's like HH is a lock of ages of this country. He has gotten away with so many things. So scared. I don't know why by you and Batch decide to cover to because already, you know, people are upset and the people are suggesting no, people will go in the street to the protest. It's not possible, my dear brother, because everyone is scared. Police officers, soldiers are everywhere. Now, I don't know they are fighting about Fuma because they went there for protection, but they and know the church will intervene. The church is not going to intervene because Mutati Kafaya when he died, but we had and that left them in their hospital. But church was quiet. At my election, things were happening. The church was quiet. We saw how Kalfianya, Alice and Dama ballot papers. People have been doing all sorts of things, but because they've got immunity. But our very innocent, we've got over 300 people mukasted. Nothing is happening. The church is quiet. What guarantee do we have that the church now is going to protect these two? I feel so bad. My heart is heavy.
Thank you. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Ambassador, Panopo Turina Cheshire. If in Israel, my Jews, they are fighting, Abanaba Israel, what will stop us from fighting? What they are doing is totally wrong, number one. Number two, we muntu now is wali lusa. And from the word go, Makebi, one pachirefe pachitumbi, bantu bashana tumbi lyonse. Makebi opawe Ninefe Omulando va pushing South Africa. I can't lie you. From the other region, Vadi Mupata Makebi Zulu, go over Makebi Zulu. And if there are ways and means, we are ready to rise, do or die. If we want to fight for this freedom, they are ready for anything. And Mr. Ichirema, you are listening, what you are doing is totally wrong. The intelligence, some of you, the intelligence is totally wrong. And to the soldiers, if it means to be divided, we are ready. We are ready. Those are foolish orders that are being given to you. You are trained to defend this country. And it is an embarrassment to the international community. I'm telling you the truth. This is an embarrassment. The whole world is watching the drama. And people, they knew it, the elderly people. If these people, they want to. What kind of a person? You went to South Africa, here, you are refusing that you are not in a free mansion. You are a free mansion.
Hello?
Yes, caller. Make your contribution quickly.
Yes,
Yes, Mr. Mwamba. I'll remain anonymous.
Yes.
Mr. Mwamba, I don't know by you any what job did they came to do here if they want to release Mr. Makebi Zulu and Brian Mundubile. And two, the issue of the caller who are calling just educating each other without a solution, I don't think in the panga sense. Tend to sang a solution the way we are going to help these people. Number chile muna kwa tiba Brian Mundubile na Makebi Zulu as if they are only people abo background the other people they are white. Kulefwa ikabantu abala tungulula abantu. Even if the people they want to protest, we need some leaders who is going to lead those people who are protesting. Otherwise, ngatwalaika la pefine twala tukashala kwa tibana banjiwa. Tete tulekelele banani kani ba Brian Mundubile na Makebi Zulu. Abo abana bayu any shimwene position ngwimwe bayisa mukuchita. Bishop bayisa mukuchita exactly. Because vale kalifia fiama citizens imitima. Na totela.
Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Couldn't be released because if they are saying the church will come on board and will be there, why didn't the church stood up for the people, for the 300, those that were arrested without any charges? And it's up to us now, the Zambians. It's our duty now. We need to fight for our president and our vice president, Honorable Makebi Zulu. We need just to come on board. Let us just organize ourselves to stand for those people because they already did the work. It's now up to us as citizens. We are not that we can stand and go in the street and protest for those people because we already know for them to be released it's something else. Because if he meant well, he was going to release those people who are in prison for no reason. So for this one to be released, I don't think it's a good idea for them to be handed over to the police. We know what.
Yes, Mwabombeni Ramwamba.
Mkwai.
Let me remain anonymous.
Yes, anonymous. Make your contribution.
Yes. Looking at time, I've been following you. This is 10:20, whereby we are saying it is these early hours of the morning, whereby the UN is there by a group of people, by an organization, by anyone else, or did they sneak there as individually? Then why should they accept if the answer is no? Why can they accept to be given in the hands of the people so that they are handed over to the police? So if they went on their own, please let it be advised to them that let them not be handed over in the hands of these church leaders or any other person. Let them just be relinquished. They find their way out from there, so that where they will go, they can at least decide with their.
Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Hello, okay, I've been listening even yesterday. You know, a lot of people are going, let's come on board, let's come on board. Who is going to initiate the coming on board? But let's mobilize ourselves. No, let's demonstrate. But tapali was it to lelanda fetule kombali. Who is going to initiate? Because we all want to support, but how? Who's going to initiate? We are not even acting. That is my thought. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The story we're running were various stories, but the prominent one is that Honorable Brian Mundubile and Makebi Zulu are expected to be handed over to the state today, to the police. And there's a process. I explained what will happen. The United Nations is based on Ali Kinkata Road. Maybe it has already happened. I don't know. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling.
I'm Simon. I'm calling from Lusaka.
Yes, Simon.
But Wamba, even the Fokulanda coin. Nishi Vayeni, Tapay, everywhere some Kuomba. But now I'm on a village chicken, via chicken. Now I'm election never ended. Then I want to, very Pariskia, I want to our. Makebi Zulu and can it solution in and can you protection better
Thank you very much, caller. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
Good morning, Ambassador.
Good morning.
Yeah, this is Blaise Zambia on the line.
Yes, Blaise, make your contribution.
It's a sad development, Ambassador, to see what's happening in our country. This moment, this is the only Zambia that we have, and we have to defend it. Our forefathers left this country for us. And looking at what's happening to our president, Brian Mundubile, and the running mate, Makebi Zulu, is not something that we expected to come from this government. This is a ruthless government, militias. I'm one of the people that they want so bad. And we are going to defend this country to the end. Because believe me, them releasing the military, the police officers to the streets is to intimidate the people so that we don't come out in numbers to defend the country, to defend our president, Brian Mundubile, and to defend Makebi Zulu. But I can urge all the Zambian people to rise and defend the democracy of this country. We only have one Zambia, one nation. Believe me, if we don't defend right now, we let these guys continue. We have to say goodbye to the democracy of this. It's the end of Mother Zambia. It's the end of democracy. I believe the UN, they have reached a moment where they were, I believe, were doing the negotiations. This is the government that does not listen. You remember, Hakainde Hichilema himself had the case to answer in the previous government. He had a treason case that he was supposed to answer, but he was forgiven. Him is not looking at all those things. He's cold-hearted. He doesn't
make sure that President Mundubile and the Vice President Makebi Zulu are not harmed. They are not in any way brutalized. We will hold you to account. There is one person who was visibly disgraced to faith, and you've seen how people have condemned the actions by one of the pastors, Pastor Rivers Mumba. Now he is a shadow of himself when we see what he's doing, and unfortunately he's not getting it. Everyone, even if people talk about it, now it's getting to a point where people are annoyed about how he's behaving. Then you see that people have expressed reservations for the UN that they should be able to see if they can hand over. There is a code for the soldiers that, you know, these soldiers that have been used, we have called it out here. There is also that, you know, they cry that democracy is gone because of the way the people are being treated. And it's difficult to trust the current leadership. And then there's also a call for protest, which I think that, you know, that we must stand up and protest. But what they're saying that the people, the Zambian people, we give information, we give our analysis, but what you do to that with that information is really up to you. But in terms of standing with you, we will stand with you when the call to action is there. Definitely we will be there. I wish you would be in a position to take part into that. Then also that we must be saying, there's one passionate caller who was insistence that even what you are seeing here is meant to just depress us. There is no way one person can kill the entire nation as long as people keep going in, keep going out there in a non-violent manner. Even if they want to use violence, do not, you know, respond with Honorable Mutati Kafwaya. This one, I'm not resting on this one. We demand accountability for death. We demand accountability. There is no way the government should show itself like they are now trying to pretend to be good. No, there must be absolute accountability. I think I just want to wish all the best to the callers and to thank you very much for staying up and, you know, being part of. Have a good day.
Justin, make your last contribution.
Generally, Ambassador, the callers are skeptical about the handover of Honorable Makebi Zulu and Honorable Brand Mundubile to the Zambian government. Clearly, they don't trust that you know, releasing their leaders to a government that they don't trust is risky. On the sidelines, I was reminded of you know, the incident of Patrice Lumumba being handed over to Kasavubu in the Democratic Republic of Congo in the 1960s by the UN itself. You remember that it is those you know, UN Secretary General at the time, the Gama shot, you know, to perish in the Chichele plantation in Ndola as he was coming from those negotiations. So the issue here is that there is no rule of law in Zambia. What we have experienced is a coup d'etat. We are in a military state, and therefore subjecting people who ordinarily won this election before an illegitimate government is trust Mr. Hichilema, because Mr. Hichilema has demonstrated to us is ready to do anything, including killing, and that is why we have, we are mourning the late Honorable Mutati Kafwaya, because Honorable Mutati Kafwaya was brutally murdered at the direction and orders of Mr. Hakainde Hichilema. So surrendering Honorable Brian Mundubile in prison, such that there is no longer opposition in Zambia or opposition voices, will not be good for our country. And I think we must agree with these people. But one thing is a call to action. Our people must rise. It is their right to demonstrate. It is a constitutional right. Yes, the constitution is currently suspended. The courts willy-nilly, and the people cannot file a petition to challenge a clearly fraudulent election. But again, the people will be supported. When they rise, it is them to rise and demand their rights to be respected. I think the number of cause, what is happening to the current government, or what is happening under the current government. And I think their voices will be even stronger when we unite and find ourselves on the streets of Lusaka, on the streets of Ndola, Kitwe, Luansha, wherever that may be. Our people need to rise and show that this is their country. It doesn't belong to a specific individual alone, because that is a message this morning to our people, that let's rise. This is a coup d'etat. If you don't agree with it, you have every right to express your views through even a demonstration. It is your right to do so.
Thank you, Augustine. Thank you, and thank you for your help. God bless you all, and we'll speak to you later.
God bless you.
Wake up to this morning news analysis show that provide facts, opinions, and reflections on what the papers say. We frame key facts to provide a balanced perspective, set the national agenda, and focusing on cross-referencing newspaper coverage with primary data, expert and special guests to offer an